Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Employability Skills Series, where we explore the top skills employers are looking for in candidates. Each week, we will cover a different topic with thoughts and insights from professionals in a variety of industries. I'm your host, Megan Morrow, Senior Associate Director of Experiential Learning and Employer Relations. Today, I have Deborah Russell as my guest, and we will be discussing the importance of accountability and reliability in the workplace. Mrs. Deborah Russell is the Talent Acquisition Supervisor for Lutheran Services Florida. In this role, she has three talent acquisition specialists who report directly to her. Deborah assists Lutheran Services Florida's hiring managers in finding talent throughout the entire state of Florida. Lutheran Services Florida is a nonprofit faith-based organization with over 65 programs that serve one in every 50 Floridians. Deborah's educational background includes Tallahassee Community College with an Associate of Arts and concentration in retail, Florida State University with a Bachelor of Science, Textile Science and Merchandising with a concentration in Business Administration, and St. Leo University Master of Business Administration with a concentration in Human Resources. Mrs. Russell has made herself a lifelong student and coined the phrase, "You can learn something from everyone if you just listen." So good morning and welcome, Deborah. Thank you so much for joining us again today.
Good morning, Megan and class.
So we've got a few students who are joining us on the call today, so that's awesome. Today we are talking about accountability and reliability, and this is actually going to be our last call of this semester. So students, as you're joining us, you'll see the poster displayed on the screen. You can scan the QR code, but if you're joining us on your phone and you can't scan, I did drop the link in the chat pod, so you can click that so that you can capture your attendance that way. All right, so Deborah, again, good morning. So can you tell us a little bit more about yourself for our students who are joining the call that may never have had the pleasure of getting to know you before?
So I am a Florida native. I absolutely love seafood. My second favorite food is Mexican food. Tacos, hard shell tacos fix every problem in life. If you didn't know, now you know. All you need is a side of guacamole and sour cream, and everything goes away. Um, about me, I am also a follower of Christ, so I'm a church girl. I love, love, love the beach. So whenever a day gets stressful, I'm going straight to the beach to put my toes in the sand and watch the waves just kind of, crush against the shoreline. So very laid back, kind of chill person.
Yeah, there's not much that beats the sound and the smell. Yeah,
No,
that waves, the sound of the waves and this like a salty sea air.
yeah,
I can do without the sound of the seagulls because I always feel like they're laughing at us.
that and them stealing your food. Those two things we don't need.
Yes. No. And then you can always tell tourists from like locals and natives because they're the yahoos that will feed those birds. And I'm like, really? Stop
You have
it.
no idea what you're doing. We don't
Like,
like that.
ah. Oh, goodness. Well, again, welcome and thank you so much for joining us today. So we're talking on a topic, accountability and reliability. So majorly important. Let's just kind of break down. Let's start with accountability. What does this mean to you? Can you define this in your own terms for us, Deborah?
Accountability, in my explanation, is trust. I should be able to trust what you say. And if you say you did it, then you did it. I should be able to trust that if you're telling me this is how it happened, then that's exactly how it happened. Um, Accountability means that your ethics and integrity are intact and they can't be compromised. And so that is something that people struggle with in the work environment, depending on the situation. I was just on a session yesterday with some professionals at Career Source, and one woman mentioned how she can't pass those tests that they give you. And she goes, "I'm an honest person." And I said, "Are you sure?" And everyone kind of was like, "Did you say that?" And I'm like, "Yeah. Are you sure?" And she's like, "Yes, I don't steal." And I said, and I gave several scenarios. And as I added more emotion into the scenario, her answer changed from no to, well, maybe it all depends. I'd have to talk to them and see. Nope. A no is a no, a yes is a yes. And that's why she was failing those questions, because she was answering them with emotion take all the emotion out and answer it, period. So
Okay.
accountability is one of those things.
Wow. Okay. I hadn't thought about emotion playing into being accountable, but that does make sense. But I like your definition of trust because that's huge. Saying what you mean and meaning what you say, and I think there's also a follow through piece there as well. If you say
Right.
you did it, then as a leader, as a manager, someone that people report to, I have to trust that you did what you said you do.
Yeah.
That's huge. You don't want to have to be following through or following up on everybody on every little thing that they're doing because then what are you going to do with your day? That's all you'll be doing, right?
Correct. Correct. I've had an employee like that, and it was high maintenance. He looked good on paper. He interviewed well, but he was definitely a Kofifi kind of employee. He would tell you he did something, and when you go to verify, it wasn't done. And so you're like, "Hey, what happened?" And he's like, "Oh, I didn't do it. No. Oh, well, I was going to, but what had happened was, well, then why did you tell me you did it? Well, I had every intention to do it, sir. That's just a lie. We're not talking about intention. We're talking about what you actually completed." And so, and he was like that the whole entire time. So every single time I asked for anything to be done, it would be the smallest amount of work because then when you're done, I have to make time to double check everything you did.
Yeah, and that just adds more to your plate.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, I can see how that as a manager, supervisor, leader, that is just not, that's not somebody that you need underneath you. That's adding more stress
no,
to your plate.
correct. It definitely added a lot more work to my day. And I can tell you, he was not my favorite person to work with. So when he was no longer with the company, I won't say I celebrated, but I will tell you I didn't cry.
And, and students, that's not something you want a manager to feel about you when you leave.
No,
Something I tell my students in class, like whenever they're applying for a job, is that you need to be the solution to the employer's problem because,
yes,
they have a problem because they have an open position and you need to be the solution. And it sounds like
yeah,
when somebody comes in with low accountability, they're actually adding to the problem, not becoming the solution.
correct, correct. I agree.
Um, yeah. So what is reliability then in your own words?
Reliability means for me, it's tired with communication. Love my favorite C word. And so if I can rely on you to finish something and you communicate that it's done, or if I asked you to do something and you don't understand, you're reliable enough, honest enough to say, hey, I don't get it. I don't want to just leave it stuck. So relying again around that trust. I can rely that you said you did what you did and you did it right. And if not, you're going to come and ask me to verify. So it's like me being able to hand the potato over, knowing that I put it in good hands versus having that doubt or that fear.
Okay. Yeah. So that's why I put these two together because they really do go hand in hand. To be accountable to the work that you say that you do, but to also be reliable, knowing that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. But I
Yeah.
also need to know that that you're going to be accountable for the work as
Yeah.
well. So even if you do it or don't do it, you're going to be accountable for the work that you said you did, or maybe that you didn't. So let's go back to accountability. Have you had a time in your, either at Lutheran Services or maybe in a previous time where maybe somebody, didn't quite do what they said they would do, but that they owned it in a way that when they were accountable for it, and how did that maybe positively or negatively impact your team? Can you talk to us about a time where maybe something like that happened?
Yes. So when I was an assistant store manager at Walmart, I was a soft lines manager. And so what we would do is we had pad partners. So when I'm off on my day off, my partner's working and they look over my department and vice versa. And so I always made sure because my pad partner was hard lines and they have a lot of SKUs, especially in hardware. Oh my God, it's like 5 million SKUs on each shelf. So you want to make sure that their markdowns are getting done in a timely fashion, because if not, that can be a mountain. Well, guess who else has a lot of SKUs? Soft lines. Every single shirt, pair of socks, all of it has a SKU number. And so my pad partner was not as attentive to my markdowns as I was to his markdowns. So I would make sure if they're on there, let's hit his up first. So I can make sure we're getting them done. And then I would be right there. So that no one has time to slack off. No one has time to, disappear because I'm right there. When it was my turn, oh, I was lucky if they got through two sheets in a whole day.
Oh
What
my.
happened? Oh, stuff was crazy at the store. I couldn't get back over there. And I'm like, so I stand in your space. And the only time I'm not there is on a 15-minute or a lunch, unless I need to address something, but I come right back. But when it's my turn, you're off doing everything else and you're not making sure that you hold their foot to the fire to get it done. And so I definitely had that conversation with him. And I said, moving forward, if you're not going to give me the same courtesy I give you, then I believe in matching energies. So the same, what you give me is what I'll give you. He felt like I was being petty, which I was, but at least I told you up front, I'm no longer going to ensure you're getting everything done and you're leaving me to come back to 8 pages all by myself when that's not the schedule. And so he
Hmm.
didn't like that, but I didn't care.
No, I like so matching energies. That's I've heard that before, and I've actually used that myself, that exact term. I think that's a nice professional way of saying, like I'm going to give you what you give me. Uh,
Correct.
Especially if it's a professional courtesy, like if I'm going to do this for you and you're not going to do it for me, I'm going to match that energy. That's a nice
Yeah.
way of saying that. Like,
Hmm.
hey, I'm not going to keep putting myself out there if you're only going to give me the bare minimum.
Correct. He said he felt that I was being spiteful. And I said, in no way is it spite. I just want to give you exactly what you give me. If you're only going to give me 2 pages, then I'll give you your 2 pages. Why would I take more work from you? I don't want to do that to you. I want you to be able to come back and work just as hard as me.
And he probably
And
didn't
he
like
didn't like that either.
that.
He didn't like that part either.
He's like, wait a minute, now I have to actually work.
Yeah, yeah. Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. So I like that's a good story. Now let's talk about like being reliable.
Mhm.
So I know that I work on a team and you're always going to work on a team in some way, shape, form, in some capacity, even if you're an entrepreneur, even if you're a one man or one woman show, because
Mhm.
you are going to have suppliers or you're going to have customers, so in some way it's a team effort.
Right.
So people are relying on you. That's exactly what that word means. They're relying on you to provide the good or the service, and then and if you are like on a team, like for example, where I'm working right now, there's 7 people on my team in career services,
Mhm.
so we are relying on each other. My students are relying on me to come to class, to teach the material, to grade the material.
Right.
What could happen, and maybe you could tell us a story from your experience where maybe somebody hasn't come through. Like what can that do to a team? How can that be detrimental to a company when people aren't reliable and they're not following through with their job?
Whenever I'm trying to get someone to understand the importance of reliability, I always have them picture a car. A car has 4 tires in order to be able to move. If we only have 3 tires, how far do you think we're going to get with an axle? Not far.
Mhm.
And we're definitely not moving fast. And it is definitely not a smooth ride. So you have the tire, the part that doesn't have the tire, it's going to be lower, which is going to put more pressure on the other tires. And eventually that's going to start chipping away because there's no protection. And so if you're the unreliable portion, you're the weakest link. You got to help us carry this load. If not, then you become the reason why we fall apart, why we can't move. And so then your job is on the line. You're not going to be secure. You're not going to feel safe. Someone is always going to be coming to you with a PIP, a performance improvement plan, or, hey, let's have a conversation. Or you're going to start getting those emails that your boss is CC'd on, creating that paper trail so that when they
Mm.
get ready to terminate you, they have everything they need. So you never want to be seen as unreliable because that also airs around trust. If I can't rely on you, I can't trust you, I'm not going to help you grow. I'm not going to help you progress. I'm not going to invest any time or energy in coaching you unless I'm coaching you out the door. And so reliability is not a good thing. It's not your friend. And if someone says to you, you haven't been reliable, ask them specifics so that you can see what they see from their eyes. And then if it's something that's not correct, address it. But if it is something that's correct, it's self reflection time. What can I do to change this? Why am I doing
That's
this?
That you opened up a door right there that I didn't realize that we were going to go down, but this is great. This is a great point to pivot here because students, we need to understand that this is to ask for feedback, to ask for how can I improve? If your supervisor does come to you with what Mrs. Russell just said, hey, you're not being reliable, or they come with you what she called as a PIP, which stands for Performance Improvement Plan. Maybe you have dropped the ball or you need a little help in something. Ask for that feedback. How can I get better? Don't just go, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
You have to, yeah, it's your growth, it's your own personal growth. And if you want to continue to grow within that organization and you don't want to just be seen as she said, the weakest link, because you will be the first to be let go, to say, okay, how can I improve? Be proactive in this feedback and ask, how can I improve? And then take it another step further. Don't just wait for them to come back to you to see how you're doing. Maybe go back in 30 days or 60 days and say, here's what I've been working on. How
good.
do you see the growth in me? Have you had
Yeah.
people do that with you, Deborah?
Unfortunately, no.
Oh,
Um, and I think it's because so a performance improvement plan, a PIP, is not your best friend. It's like your referral to go to the dean's office. But it doesn't mean that you're getting suspended. It doesn't mean you're getting fired. What it is official notice like, hey, we want you to do this in order for you to start being productive. So if you can address that and then get over the shock of it and start working towards those goals, as long as they're obtainable and realistic, then after your performance improvement plan is over, you can still go back to them and say, okay, it's been 60 days. How am I doing? It's
hmm
been 120 days. How am I doing? Because you taking the temperature is going to tell them that you care and you're fully invested. Another thing that a lot of people, I feel, don't see, hear, understand. If I say something to you and it's a harsh message, if you say, uh-huh, what do you hear? Whatever, I don't care. Say what you want to say, right?
hmm hmm
Instead of saying, I'm acknowledging what you're saying. Did
It's a
you
big
hear? I don't
difference.
care. Whatever. It's I don't care.
hmm No, it's a big
So
difference.
correct. And so a lot of people don't understand that, okay, can be perceived in a negative light depending on what you have on your face, depending on the tone or the influx or lack of. So it's better to use a sentence to say, I hear what you're saying and I understand, versus, mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
Big
okay,
difference.
got it. Totally different because they're taking notes in this conversation. Didn't handle feedback well. No, I just said, mm-hmm. To me, it was fine, but to you, you felt like it was an attitude.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yes. And this speaks.
communication,
Yes, yeah, this is all that intergenerational communication
yes,
stuff that
yes,
I'm very passionate about. That I'm even doing my dissertation on is, intergenerational working relationships and everything, that we have to watch our nonverbal communication, our facial expressions. Like you
yes,
said, the way that we communicate, everybody everywhere could work on improving
yes,
communication. Even the best communicators in the world can
yes,
continue to improve on communication.
agree.
You can't just go, I love how you say you can't just go, and think that that is being received well. Just like in class, students, you can't just sit there with your arms crossed and your RBF on and staring at somebody and think that that's being received well. And you're like, well, I'm just listening, or oh, I'm just tired, or oh, I'm focused. That's not the message that's coming across. And if your boss is giving you feedback and you're saying, that is, like she said, they're going to be in the back of their mind going, does not receive feedback well, is
Right,
not, accepting the mistakes, is not accepting accountability for the mistakes. And you're
exactly,
in the back in your head going, I said, okay.
exactly,
Doesn't work that way.
correct.
That's huge. That's huge. I'm so glad you brought that up. You have to relax your face,
Hmm.
and you have to accept, especially if you're the one that made the mistake, accept the accountability. We just did a call earlier this semester on embrace mistakes and accept consequences.
Yeah.
That
I
was a huge one.
back in my day, they used to say fail fast so that you
Hmm.
can get it out of the way.
Yeah.
Because everyone, the biggest fear is, oh my God, what if I fail? Now let me just go ahead and knock it out, make this
Yeah.
mistake, and then I'm done. Because it
But it's
takes all the
okay.
sting out. It is literally okay. They know that you're not a robot. They know that you're human and human errors happen. So if you take all the accountability, where
Hmm.
can they go with that? Like I'm the queen of, I'm going to tell on myself. I'm going to say I messed something up. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I'll raise my hand because I want to tell my story, not let someone else tell it for me. Hey, Deborah, did you actually? I did do it. Let me tell you what happened. Let me tell you what I was trying to do or what I thought I was doing. And then most of the time they're like, oh, I guess that makes sense. And I'm like, yeah, so my bad. So what do I need to do to fix it?
Yep.
Oh, that's it? Like you're not gonna know I blew it. So how do I fix it?
Exactly. And they will have so much more trust and respect for
Yep.
you. I will tell
Yes.
you a really quick story that I screwed up. I'm going to say 2 months into the job working here, working
Hmm.
at a very prestigious college, a Christian college at that. I was calling in to set up my health benefits for me and my children
Hmm.
to dial a 1-800 number to set it up. Well, I didn't pay attention and I accidentally dialed 1-888. It was a sex hotline.
Get
The
out of here.
moment I am not kidding, I was like 1-888 da 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 da, and I'm listening, and as soon as they answered, and I hung up as fast as I could, and I'm talking sheer panic went over me because I called it on my office line, and I was like,
Oh my
oh my
God.
God, oh my God, oh my God, and so I didn't know what to do, and so I sat there for a second, and I just wanted to crawl in a hole and die, and I thought, how could that happen? How could that happen? And then I thought, nope.
Oh,
Get ahead of this. This was a
yeah.
pure accident. I
Yeah.
immediately called my supervisor and I said, I have to tell you something. And I was on the verge of tears because I thought, this is insane. How did this happen? And I told her what happened. And I said, here's the number, and here's the number to the 1-800 for our medical, and here's the number to the not so professional line that I accidentally called. And you can see that it lasted all of like 2 seconds. And she laughed at me, but I was like ready to cry. And
Yeah.
she's like, Megan, it's okay. It's okay. And I
Yeah.
was like, no, 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 I didn't do it on purpose. She's like, clearly you didn't do it on purpose. This is actually kind of funny. And she goes, when you
It
calm
is.
down, you'll laugh at this later. I was like, there's
Yes.
no laughing at this. But here I am 4 years later laughing at it. But she's
That's
like, thank you so
hilarious.
much for telling me, because if the
Yeah.
college had done, any kind of search and saw that from my phone, there was a
Well, you
call
know
to
what?
this,
There would have been some questions.
there would have been some
Some serious
questions.
questions.
But I took 100% accountability
Yeah.
for it. I embraced the mistake that I had made. I was ready to accept any kind of consequences,
That's
you
right.
know. And now, I mean, I can laugh about it, but it was like, what number would be that close to our medical number?
Hmm.
It was hilarious. I could laugh now, but I was
Yes.
mortified, just
I can
absolutely mortified.
imagine. I would have been mortified as well.
I was like, oh my God, I didn't know they still had those things.
Me neither. Thank you for letting me know.
So don't
I
call
thought
that
that was
number,
already in the
guys.
past.
But it just goes to show, like when you just get in front of it, take
Yeah.
accountability for it. My boss still laughs at me. She's like, make sure pay attention what numbers you're dialing. I was like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my
Yep.
God. So it just goes to show we can make the silliest of mistakes and you just
Yeah.
take accountability for it.
Yeah.
But so I don't know, we're kind of getting up on our time here. Deborah, if somebody were to take away some pieces of advice from our call today, how would their time at work and their professional lives be changed?
I would say accountability and reliability are two things that are a foundation for every career path, no matter what you're pursuing, just like you said, entrepreneurship or nonprofit or working in a for-profit company. Those two things are not separate. They do go together. They're like those kissing cousins. And so you need both to really truly be effective with who you are, what your brand is, your value proposition to that employer. If you're not hearing those things in your reviews, then that's something you need to work on. If you're not, even in your personal life, people will show up for you when you show up for them. And so when you're reliable for them, they're reliable for you. The same thing as accountability. If you do something wrong, accident or on purpose, just take all the sting out of it because it's denying it. It's the kind of skirting around it that makes it burn and fester and explode. So if you just kind of walk in and say, yeah, this is what I did. This is why I did it. I thought it was right, but it's wrong. So what do I do now? That helps you 10 times better than avoiding it, especially in the HR world. I will tell you, I would appreciate if an employee came in and said, hey, this is what I did. I'm not sure I was supposed to do it, but I did it. Okay, well,
Mhm.
you weren't supposed to do it. Thank you for letting me know. And now I don't have to write you up for it because you already acknowledged you did something that you didn't. I'll take that for you because we have that luxury. We can kind of take something on the head and not make everything as paper driven as we could, especially if
Mhm.
you bring it to my attention and I don't have to come to you and address it.
I love that. I love how you said also in your personal life too.
Yeah.
That just speaks volumes. Don't throw other people under the bus. Don't make excuses. Just own it. And when
Yeah.
somebody comes, and especially if maybe you didn't know and somebody has to come to you,
Hmm.
again, just sit back, take it. Don't start wagging your finger and point and blame and say, well, somebody else did it. No. Just own it because, like I said a little bit earlier, you will gain so much more respect and trust from your employer and from your colleagues and your teammates. Whether you meant to do it or not,
Hmm.
if it was a mistake, it's a mistake. We all make them. Like I
Hmm.
did, 4 years ago. I'm still making mistakes. We're
Yep.
not perfect. I
Right.
will continue to make mistakes, but if you can just be accountable for that, and if people can rely on you to do your job and do the best of your ability, and when you do make mistakes, it's okay. But do
Yeah.
your best, show up in your personal life and your professional life, like Deborah was saying, and that all goes together. Then people will trust you and they will go to bat for you. And
Yeah.
that's huge too.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being here with us. And this is our
You're
last call of
welcome.
the semester. Students, thank you so much for joining us. Again, please capture your attendance, either scan the QR code or click the link in the chat pod. But good luck on your finals next week. Thank you for a wonderful semester. Deborah, we'll probably see you back next semester.
Okay. Good luck on your finals.
All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your Wednesday. See you guys later.